An 82-year-old woman takes a small fall in the bathroom and never gets back up. Because after 80, just one loss of balance can mean spending the rest of your life in bed. Limbs grow weaker. Blood pressure swings wildly. Just one moment of dizziness, one loss of balance, can trigger a stroke before you can even react. We often hear that women outlive men, but here's the truth. Living longer is not the same as living well. So what allows some women to stay sharp, steady, and fully alive? Well into their 90s or even 100, it is not about luck, and it is certainly not about expensive pills. It is because they listen to their bodies. They know preventing a stroke starts with the smallest things: enough water, a slower pace, a regular blood pressure check. In today's video, I will share 5 simple yet crucial secrets, helping older women not just live longer, but live well, fully, and gently, all the way to 100. If you have ever thought to yourself, at my age, I'm just taking it one day at a time, then stick with me until the end. Because what you need might just be a few small changes starting today. And the first secret to reaching 100 is check your blood pressure weekly to prevent a stroke. Imagine someone smiling, cooking, tending to their garden, and then having a stroke right there in their yard. No goodbyes, with no one realizing it was the last time. In their golden years, many people assume that if they don't have headaches, dizziness, or numbness, they must be fine. But the hard truth is, unstable blood pressure often shows no clear symptoms, and that is what makes it so terrifying. It is why so many older women can still shop, walk, and chat happily, until one morning they simply cannot open their eyes. High blood pressure is the #1 cause of stroke, especially in older women. According to the American Heart Institute, over 70% of strokes happen to people who never knew their blood pressure was high. The disease silently wears down your blood vessels, making them weaken, bulge, and burst. And just one rupture can mean everything is over in an instant. Mrs. Linda, 78, who lived alone in Asheville, North Carolina, was diagnosed with pre-hypertension, but paid it no mind. She would say, "When you get older, it's normal for your blood pressure to go up and down a bit." Then one March morning, while watering plants in her backyard, she collapsed and never woke up. The whole neighborhood mourned her. She was so kind and cheerful. But tragically, one small action could have changed everything. High blood pressure does not cause pain. It does not keep you up at night. It does not make walking difficult. But it is like a ticking time bomb. The longer you ignore it, the greater the risk. The aftermath of a stroke is not just death. It can be paralysis, memory loss, the inability to care for yourself, forcing your family to live with constant worry. You can buy an electronic blood pressure monitor and keep it in the kitchen or by your bed. Once a week, take a reading and write it down. If you notice an unusual change, do not hesitate to call your doctor. This is not a small thing. This is you protecting your own future. Old age is not a time for waiting for something to happen. It is a time to listen to your body moment by moment. Start by taking your blood pressure this week, because that one small action today might just let you live to see many more sunrises. And besides monitoring blood pressure, there is another small signal you should never, ever ignore: unusual numbness in your hands or feet. Many seniors dismiss numb hands as just sleeping wrong until they cannot hold a spoon at their last conscious breakfast. Older adults often get used to fleeting numbness in their fingertips or their feet, telling themselves, "I must have slept on it wrong," or "it's probably just poor circulation." But what few realize is that this numbness, if it appears suddenly, for no reason, and lingers, could be your nervous system's earliest warning that a blood vessel in your brain is slowly getting blocked. According to the American Stroke Association, about 1 in 4 stroke patients reported numbness in a hand or on one side of their body days before the event. It is a sign that blood flow to the brain is becoming irregular, that nerves are compressed, and that your body is calling for help. Silently but clearly, if you are willing to listen. Mrs. Dorothy, 80, from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, recalled how her left hand would often be numb when she woke up. Thinking it was her pillow or sleeping position, she would just shake it out. A week later, while peeling an apple in her kitchen, the knife suddenly fell from her hand. She could not lift her arm. It was her first mini stroke. Thankfully, she received emergency care in time. But she admitted, "I just wish I had listened to my body a little sooner." Numbness in your limbs, especially on one side of your body, along with weakness, shakiness, or unusual clumsiness, should not be brushed aside. If you need to brace yourself against a wall to walk, or your hands struggle to grip familiar objects, it is time to stop and get checked immediately. The good news is, catching it early can absolutely save your life. Note when you feel the numbness, compare both sides of your body, and see if the sensation returns. If it lasts or spreads, do not wait. See a doctor to check your cerebral blood vessels and circulatory system. The sooner you find it, the better your chances of recovery. And sometimes just not ignoring a strange feeling is the first step in preventing a catastrophe. Do not wait until your arm will not move to realize you need help. Start listening to your body while it is still strong enough to speak up. And sometimes what keeps you healthy is not something big. It is as simple as something most people forget: drinking enough water every day. Someone, just by forgetting water for a few days, collapsed in the middle of a conversation and never woke up. It sounds strange, but many older adults do not realize they are living in a state of chronic, mild dehydration. As we age, our sense of thirst diminishes. So even though the body needs water to keep blood thin, flowing smoothly, and to regulate blood pressure, many older women only have a few sips a day, thinking, "If I'm not thirsty, I must be fine." That is incredibly dangerous. According to the Cleveland Clinic, dehydration makes blood thicker, slowing circulation and encouraging the formation of blood clots, a common cause of ischemic stroke. This is especially true in the early morning or after a nap, when the body is dehydrated and not replenished quickly enough. The story of Mrs. Esther, 82, from Sacramento, California, is a stark warning. She had a habit of drinking tea and coffee instead of plain water. During the summer, she often felt weak and dizzy, but blamed it on the heat. One day, as she stood up from her sofa, the room began to spin, and she fell. Doctors concluded she had a mini stroke caused by dehydration and a sudden drop in blood pressure, all because she did not drink enough plain water each day. Dehydration does not give you a fever or cause aches, but it quietly degrades your blood quality, impacts heart function, and makes your brain more vulnerable. If you are not careful, you could be suffering from brain dryness without a single clue. Luckily, the fix is incredibly simple. You do not need 2 liters a day like younger people, but aim for at least 6,008 glasses of plain water daily. Sip it throughout the day, especially after waking up, before a walk, and before bed. Do not confuse it with soda, tea, or coffee. They do not hydrate as effectively as pure water. Keep a small water bottle next to your favorite chair or by your bed. Every time you take a sip, you are hydrating your blood vessels, thinning your blood, preventing clots, and keeping your brain fully nourished. Do not wait until you feel thirsty to drink. By then, your body has been running on empty for a while. Start today with 1 sip of water, because sometimes that sip is what saves you from a stroke that gives no warning. If you are still with me and finding this helpful, drop a 3 in the comments just to let me know. And if you have not already, now is a great time to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss our new videos. Your support means the world and helps us keep making content like this. And besides drinking enough water, another habit is equally important: light movement every morning. Just lingering in bed for 30 more minutes, it sounds harmless. But when you finally wake up, half of your body cannot move. Old age often brings a slower pace, more rest, and sometimes a reluctance to get out of bed each morning. Many older women think, "I'm old, I don't need to exercise anymore." But what they do not realize is this prolonged inactivity, especially in the morning, when blood is at its thickest and slowest, is a silent catalyst for forming blood clots. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, a sedentary lifestyle is a major risk factor for stroke, particularly for those over 70. When you are still, circulation stagnates, blood is not pushed through the body, and in that state, a clot can easily form and travel to the brain, causing a blockage. Mrs. Karen, 79, from Boise, Idaho, lived a very slow life. She woke up late, had breakfast in bed, and only got up when she needed something. She felt healthy, so this went on for years. But one morning as she stepped out of bed, she suddenly felt one side of her face go numb. Her words jumbled. Doctors said she had a mini stroke, caused by a small clot from her leg that had traveled to her brain. I was only lying down a little longer, she said. But sometimes, a little longer is all it takes for everything to change forever. You do not need to go for a run or do complicated yoga. Just every morning before leaving your room, spend 5 to 10 minutes on simple movements. Circle your wrists and ankles, roll your shoulders, stretch, or walk gently around the house. If you are up for it, a few laps in the yard or a stroll around the block is a huge gift to your heart and brain. This wakes up your circulation, naturally thins your blood, and reduces the risk of clots that form overnight. More importantly, it helps your body shift from a state of deep rest to one of vibrant life. The older you are, every movement you make is twice as meaningful. Do not wait until you need physical therapy to appreciate the value of a strong step. Start tomorrow morning with a few simple movements to keep your blood flowing and to keep your heart beating its peaceful rhythm. And to protect your brain's blood vessels for the long haul, one small habit with a huge impact is eat less salt and check your pulse regularly. Just one extra pinch of salt a day, which seems enough to push your heart to its limit without any warning. And a stroke rarely waits for anyone to notice. Many older adults keep seasoning their food heavily like they did when they were young, thinking bland food has no taste. But the reality is, after 70, the kidney's ability to process salt declines sharply. When you eat too much salt, the excess builds up and sends your blood pressure soaring, which directly damages artery walls, creates the perfect conditions for blood clots, and leads to a stroke. According to the American Heart Association, older adults should have no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium a day. That is less than 2/3 of a teaspoon of salt. But a single bowl of soup, a few slices of deli meat, or a meal with soy sauce can easily blow past that limit. The real danger is an older person's sense of taste is often weaker, making them crave more salt to find flavor, creating a vicious cycle no one talks about. Mrs. Helen, 81, from Charleston, South Carolina, thought she ate sensibly. Her meals always had a bit of braised sauce, a piece of salted fish, maybe some pickles for taste. But during a routine checkup, her doctor found an irregular heartbeat and high blood pressure. After several tests, the main culprit was a diet too high in salt, forcing her heart to work overtime to pump blood through constricted arteries. I never thought a little soy sauce each day could tire my heart out so much, she said, after months on heart rhythm medication. A high-salt diet does not hurt. It does not make you feel bad right away. But it silently overloads your heart, alters the rhythm of your pulse, and you will not know it until a stroke strikes in the middle of the night. Start by cutting back on salt gradually, a little less each day. Choose fresh foods over processed ones. Use lemon juice, pepper, or herbs for flavor instead of salt. And just as important, check your own pulse every week. Simply place your fingers on your wrist or neck and feel the rhythm. If it is irregular, too fast, or too slow, that is a warning sign to see a doctor. A healthy heart should not have to overwork every day just to satisfy your taste buds. Start today. Try today, cut back on one pinch of salt, and listen to your own pulse to avoid a tragedy no one saw coming. Because sometimes a long life begins with a meal that is just a little less salty. You see, living to 100 is not a fantasy. But what matters even more, is living in a way that makes every day meaningful. Not dragging your feet in exhaustion, not living in fear of every dizzy spell, every sudden chest pain. If you just monitor your blood pressure regularly, notice the small signs like numb limbs, keep your body moving gently each morning, and drink enough water to help your blood flow smoothly, you are already halfway to a long, healthy life. None of us can choose how long we live, but you can choose how you wake up tomorrow, with an ache in your shoulder or with a gentle breath of morning sun. If this video inspired you to take better care of your health each day, feel free to share it with your partner, your daughter, a close friend, someone who might also be quietly navigating their 60s with a little uncertainty. And if you have, are, or have ever overcome a health scare but still kept your optimism, please leave a comment below because your story could be the light someone out there desperately needs. May you always be strong enough to walk tall and gentle enough with yourself to live long, a very long time, the way you truly deserve.